Peter McGuinness and Impossible Foods just lost another C-suite executive. Let's talk about it. So when I started the series, I was like, how am I going to keep doing videos about this every single day? And then Impossible Foods keeps giving me news stories to talk about. So let's get into it. So I saw this at the beginning of the month. Dr. Sunil Chandran rejoins McGuinness as the CTO. This is the guy if you want to know who we're talking about. In the press release, he talks about returning to McGuinness after a 2-year stint as the CSO, Chief Science Officer at Impossible Foods. Now, what's interesting about this is he didn't leave Impossible Foods to go to another growing startup. He went back to his old company. And what's interesting about this is it's just like barely 2 years after he joined Impossible Foods. And again, when you're at executive level position, if you're only staying in a spot for 2 years and you have like full view of the entire company, it's usually not a good thing for the company. They did the press announcement of his joining June 15th, 23. And the announcement that he's going back to his old company was September 2nd, 25. So like 2 years and a couple months. And Impossible Foods hasn't really announced this at all, but they did quietly update their website on their leadership section from this to this. And what's interesting about this is they announced Sunil's hiring at the same time as Rob Haas's hiring, along with the Chief Demand Officer and the Chief Marketing Officer, Leslie Sims and Shireen Jagla. Again, I hope I said those names right. And if we go back to their leadership section, all those people other than Rob are now gone. You basically got Peter, the CEO, the chief legal guy running all the legal stuff, Chief Demand Officer, Meredith, and Rob. That's their executive suite. Now, when CEOs turn over the company, oftentimes they add their own executives to the mix. And a lot of these guys were handpicked by Peter to be at Impossible Foods and initiate the next growth of the company. And those aren't my words. That's what they're saying here. It's several key executive appointments in the past 6 months as they continue to invest in their leadership team and growth strategy. But just a couple of years into this new executive experiment, and the executive bench isn't growing, it's shrinking. This page used to be quite a bit longer. And again, these are smart, capable people. Some would say very good executives, allegedly. So it makes you wonder if Impossible Foods is doing so well and they're crushing it to the extent that Peter goes around to all these conferences and talking about it. Why is everybody leaving? Remember, this is just a couple months after their CFO, the person in charge of all their finances, left the company. The educated guess is that the leaders are seeing the writing on the wall and they see where the company and the plant-based meat space in general is going. But one thing that I've heard before is that people don't quit companies, they quit leaders. So maybe it's possible that Peter McGuinness sold them a bill of goods. They got all excited about it. And then 2 years in, they realize it's not panning out and they're looking for other options. So Impossible Foods hasn't made a statement about this. They're probably not going to, but it does make you wonder what is going on over there. And are people really happy working at the company? But maybe we'll talk about that in another video. Either way, it is not looking good, at least from the outside. Today's day 1,635 of getting sued by Impossible Foods. I'll see you here tomorrow.